Welcome to Millhall and Volmer, and today is the bonus Lima Class 50 video. So I just thought I'd just start it just a minute or so early just to try and get people aware that I'm actually live. So I'd like to thank everybody for your comments and suggestions over this project. It's been really helpful and really good, and the interest that's been generated has been really great as well. So Wyvern Model Railway, thank you for joining me, and it's nice to see you. I hope you're well and safe. And let me just quickly just check on my go back a bit. That's it. Right, so I can catch people on the big screen on my TV as well, so sometimes it's easier to see the comments. Yes, I am fine, thank you. It's been a bit of a tough old week, and I did have a bit of a corona scare, but generally speaking, I'm pretty cool. Hello, Barnston Camp Junction. John, welcome to the stream, and nice to have you on board today. And so we're just going to give it a few minutes before we kind of get into the kind of the itty bitty crux of the video. Hello, Gary Tate, welcome to this stream. It's nice to have you on board also. And let me just see what we've got going at the moment. Now, as per usual on my layout, it's only 2 trains running because that's all I can really do at any one time. But the whole thing is, it's all about the Lima 60 that I've been working on. But my 2 Hornbys are running, and there's a reason why they're both running, which I will sort of demonstrate as we get into the stream. So we're just going to I'm just getting the others set up and running. Hopefully they can just trundle around without any mishaps. Hello, Poshington number 1. If I said that right, welcome to the stream. So let's recall the other one. 64.4. So, hello, Auntie from Strathmore Junction. 2 more than me, Barnston Camp Junction says. And I know sometimes people get a bit kind of bored about seeing the same trains running around and around. This is just literally just to discuss the actual 60 and just to go through it. And sometimes it's easy to do things live because people can then ask in real time any questions that they might have. So if I just sort of zoom you sort of down sort of towards there, you'll sort of see that the my DB Schenker Class 60 044 Dolo on the tanks at the moment. That's the official one with TTS sound. Coming round also on tanks is the Class 60 Bicola 60021. Southern Train Girl, welcome to the stream. And these are both Hornby examples. And then, as you can probably see, there's a little line going on just sort of here and here. And these are the 2 that have yet to be sorted out. This one arrived this morning. Hello, Auntie. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much for your words, Anthony. We're going to delve into that shortly. But what I wanted to kind of sort of show you is one of the reasons, before I get on to the one that I've been working on, is the 3 that I'm going to show you, which is the 2 running around plus my new one that I've just recently rebadged. They've all got the same chip in it. They've all got TTS chips, but they've all got different speakers, and it's kind of like just trying to see. I don't know whether it will come across on the screen. Hello, Alan. Welcome to the stream. Whether you can hear the difference between the 3 different types of speakers. So they're just trundling around. Lloyd Central Station. Hello. Welcome to the stream. So as you can see, like my cutlass is just on its way around. Now what I'm going to do is on the next pass I'm going to sort of stop, or actually I'm going to switch on the sound. So you're going to hear some sound now, and that's going to come from my official. Hello Digger Evans, Model Railway, welcome to the stream. This comes from the official Hornby TTS locomotive, which is the red DB Schenker. So this is factory fitted sound with factory fitted TTS and the standard speaker. My apologies if it's a bit loud. Now to me, that kind of sounds a bit kind of crackly. Even though it's factory fitted, it sounds a bit crackly. It just sounds a bit... It just doesn't sound clear enough for my liking. So we'll switch that one off. And I don't know what you thought of that, but that's... Hello Quarry Central, welcome to the stream. If I recall the other one, the Colas one, that one's got the slightly better speaker in it, which is basically apparently the Roads and Rails enhanced speaker. So let's just show you what that looks like so you can have an idea. So this is the little Roads and Rails in bass enhanced speaker, and that's what's in the Colas at the moment. So we'll take a listen to that. Hello 4468 Mallard, welcome to the stream. Thank you Lloyd Central for the comment on the layouts looking good. Thank you very much, much appreciated. So we're going to stick the sound on the Colas, and that's got that speaker in it. And that sounds better. Matty Walker Videos, welcome to the stream. It sounds better, but I'm still not overly keen on it. But there isn't much space on the Hornby ones, which is why we've got this one. So I'm going to shut the sound down so you can actually hear my voice and not get drowned out. So I'm going to let that carry on running around. We're going to send that on its merry way. And as you can see here, I've got the two Lima 60s. They haven't been chipped or anything like that. They're just parked up here just to show you that they are here and what they look like before we do anything with them. So I'm going to send 60021 on its merry way again. Yeah, Strathmore, that's as I'm assuming that... Hello Tony Slight, welcome to the stream. I'm assuming that you've seen my last video about the sort of tips. So the one that I received today was this one, this Transrail one, and if I just sort of open up the box, this is the box for it, you can see, yeah, you can see that here it's got the detailing bits here in the corner. Now the thing is with this chap who put this Lima 60 on eBay, he actually took the photographs separately to show that he did have the detailing pack, which is very easy to see then, and then you can just make your judgment on it. But not everybody does, and not everybody tells you whether it comes with detailing pack, so sometimes you've got to ask. Usually I'm paying anything between about £45 and £50. I bought a couple for 40, but it does kind of, £50 usually about my max that I go with. So I'm going to just spin the camera around, and then we're going to have a look at this bear with me one moment whilst we get all scary. Right, we're going to drop you right down now, so bear with me a minute whilst we here we go. So here is one of them. Now this one is completely finished, and what I'm going to do in a moment is I'm going to swap out the DB Schenker, and I'll put this one on the track, and then you can sort of see it. It's been a great job. I've enjoyed doing this. Like I said briefly, I mean, if you want to do it yourself, I'll be doing a video in more detail on how I'm doing it. But just for now, just as a quick rundown, as you can probably see, as Dolo's coming, trundling around in the background. It's had the chassis repainted. It's had the buffers refitted. It's got new buffers on it. It's also had a new livery. It's got a new coat of paint. The interior has been reworked. It's got a TTS chip in it, and it's also got I'll show you. It's got one of these Roads and Rails mega bass speakers in it, and that speaker is fitted upside down like that, so the sound goes through the floor. So the whole point of this is, for those of you who may have missed it, the whole reason why I'm going for this trouble of converting a Lima 60 is I've kind of decided that we've got to a point that, as fantastic as these Hornby, and they are absolutely superb, these Hornby 60s, as Dolo's trundling around in the background, absolutely superb. They pull anything, they're really strong motors, absolutely fantastic 60s. The thing is, we're getting to a point where I feel like the price is just getting really a little bit beyond my kind of range. And so I had this idea of, since I felt that this Class 60 by Lima was still a good model, I was wondering, I just sort of challenged myself to sort of convert one of these and see if I can do it for less than the price of a ready-to-run Hornby Class 60. Now the thing is, with this particular livery is not available in the Hornby catalogue for this year. It might be next year, but it definitely isn't in the catalogue for this year. So if this is a livery you want, you just can't get it unless you do it yourself in any case. This particular livery here, which is the Kappa one, which is parked up here, which is the second one that I'm working on, that one is available this year through the Hornby catalogue. But once again, I wanted to do it for basically less cost. Hello, Roy Watson. Welcome to the stream. So, in a moment, what we're going to do is we're going to, on its next pass, I'm going to stop 60044, and we're going to put that to one side. And we'll swap it out with the 60074 that you have in front of you, and then we can have a little bit of a sort of closer look at it. So here comes 60044. So let me recall that. There it comes, right. Right, so we'll just stop 60044 there. That's fantastic. Like I said, these Hornby 60s are absolutely superb, they really are. But it's like I said, we're just getting to a point now where, you know, I find that I could probably do things cheaper and do it myself, a lot of things. So I'm just gonna put this 60 to one side. Put that to one side there. Right, okay, so I'm just going to pull my chair back so I can get this. So I'm going to remove this 60 here. I'm going to just put it onto the front here. And then we'll get it Right, so one of the things to look at is the coupling. Basically, I've now got rid of the decoupling, big decoupling, and fitted an NEM socket to it. But as you can see, there is a bit of a gap between the buffers. But if you were to use probably Hunt's couplings or something, I'm sure you can get this closer fitted with no problems at all. But as you can see, the actual alignment of the couplings is actually virtually level. So that seems to be running okay, she says, until we kind of sort of run it around, and then, as what they say about live television, how it all goes pear-shaped. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move you to the front of the loco, so we can sort of have a good look at the oh, sorry, my apologies, everybody. Right, so let me see if I can get you in a bit more. That's probably about as good as I'm going to get. Sorry, it's me trying to use my fingers and everything, it's just not always the best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of 6002, but I'll park it up around the back once it's just finished going round, and then I'll sort of have a look at some of the features of this Class 60. And as you can see in closer detail, you can see the buffers, and you can see it's all been painted up. The chassis has been painted up, and it looks half decent. I'm pleased with the job. So the other one is just stopping now. So we're gonna just recall that. That's it. We'll send that one out of the way. Right. Come on, come on. Off you go. Right. That's it. There we go. Right. So I guess you'd press the F11. Sorry, that was me pressing the horn instead. That wasn't meant to happen, but there you go. So that's the sound of the door slam to get in. Then you'd put the cab lights on, which I've fitted cab lights to this. And I don't know if it comes up or not. Oh, okay. I'll tell you why that's done that. Right, because I'll tell you why, because I'm not on that loco. That's not very bright of me. My apologies. Yeah, I was pressing buttons for a different loco. That's why it doesn't work. Would help if the address was set correctly. So here we go. We've got the lights. So I've now fitted lights to this Class 60. So let's see if the cab lights work. Hopefully it will come up. There you go. Hopefully that's coming up on the camera. Yeah, that's it. So that's now got the cab lights on. So you can, and that's usually the auxiliary function of the chip. But unfortunately with the 8-pin chips, and again, I'll go through this in more detail in one of my other videos. And again, you don't get cab lighting on the Hornby 60. So this is something else you don't get. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch it off, and I'm gonna switch this right off as well. No, I won't be doing that. I won't be getting the blue Pullman. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to see if I can shut all the lights down and try and get this as dark as possible, so you can have a really good view of it in the dark, is what I'm hoping. So bear with me one moment. So let's try and get this as dark as we possibly can. Right, so there we go. Right, so let's... Right, so there we go. Right, so all the lights are turned off. So hopefully now, right, there we go. So if we go to Shift 2 5, is that right? Shift 2 5. Oh no, wait a minute. There you go. There's the Okay, let's try this again. Shift 2, 5. There we go. Right. There's the lights. So obviously you can clearly see the lights and the headlights, the cab lights. And let me see if I can sort of take you in a bit more into the cab. So there's the cab a bit more. Let me just see if I can get you a bit of a better view. I know the light's a bit, hopefully you can see that. Right, I know the pixels has gone a bit iffy, but that's just because we're in the dark. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got the mega bass speaker in this one. Now I'm going to turn off the cab lights. And I'm hoping, hopefully you guys can pick up, it's got some instrument lights inside. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm hoping you can see that it's got instrument lighting on it. So that's something else. So I've done that. Now, if you go back to the front of the train, you can see basically there's very minimum. It's very minimum in terms of light bleed coming through. A lot of the light bleeds coming through is from the instrument dials. There is a little bit on the front, but that's just because of the way of the glazing is. Because the glazing actually runs all the way down the front of it across here to the headlights here. So if you wanted to actually completely eliminate it, you'd have to cut the glazing about there to stop it from coming up. But that is very, very minimal, and I'm very pleased with that. That's, to be honest with you, I'm just happy with that. So what we're going to do is going to switch some lights back on again, so you can have a good view, and so we're not all sitting here in the dark. But hopefully the point comes across. Oh God, well, that's unfortunate, Anthony. Yeah, that's the thing with some of those Hatton 66s. It's just a real Russian roulette. I've got one, and I was very, very lucky that arrived in one piece, and I was very, very pleased with it. But it's. Thank you, Chris McDonald. That's very kind of you to say. It's just about learning. And like I said, I'll be doing a video on this. So hopefully you guys will be able to pick up on what I'm doing and maybe give you a bit of confidence to have a go yourself. I'm just going to try and zoom out if I can. There we go. Right. So, shall we listen to it? I don't know what you guys thought of that. So let's just see her go. Yeah, that's got the mega bass speaker in that one. I've had to modify some of the CVs to get it to run right, and so that's something that each chip, I'm guessing, is individual. So if you were to go down this road, you'd probably have to do it and tinker with it to get it to run properly. Hello, Somerset Andy, welcome to the stream. So she's just, yeah, it sounds great. And all the kind of extras I've added, like I said, this is all done for just over £100. The loco cost me about 40. The sound chip was just under, was about 37 or 36, something like that. And with all the resistors and the LEDs, which are very minimal cost. No, I think I'd already answered that, Mallard. No, I'm not getting the HST Blue Pullman. It's with the better speaker, and it's basically put it just over £100. Yeah, I did repaint the whole lot. Yeah, this one's been completely repainted. The transfers have come from Railtech. In fact, all of the transfers have come from Railtech. The speakers I got from Roads and Rails, but via eBay rather than direct. March West Junction, welcome. I'm just going to shut it down so we can hear ourselves think. So let me just let that run. And then you can hear the Lima motor itself, so you can hear for yourself what the Lima motor sounds like. It hasn't been modified. It hasn't got one of the CD motors in it. I'm not 100% sure on that. But as you can see, she looks good and runs well, even on a Lima motor. So, and this one here is my other one, which is the Kappa one, which I've completely repainted and redone. So this one needs to be DCC converted. In fact, all of them still need DCC conversion, apart from the one that's actually running. But that's something that I can do in my own time. But like I said, I will be doing a video because I know there's people asking me, how I do certain things. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be a little bit scary, but we're going to turn you back round. Because I'm going to just sort of hopefully talk you through some of the components that you might be interested in. And so I've got a load of bags here, so bear with me a minute whilst I get this all to hand, and then I can sort of talk you through some of the components that I've been using. Right. And that one as well. So we'll start with the buffers. Now, you can go as cheap as you want or as expensive as you want, but this whole loco, like I said, has cost me just over £100. Thank you. Tony's like to do. And that's even with all the slight modifications. Now this is a little bag of buffers, and as you can probably see, it is X9675. And these are the buffers that I've used, and I've replaced the Lima oval ones. This is a selection of LEDs, which again I'll go through. These are all the LEDs that I've been using. I haven't used the red ones because I was looking at putting tail lights onto this as well. But I'll go through that as well, I'll explain that to you. If you've got any questions as we go along, please feel free to ask. I have got, there the others are there. These are some non-DCC chips. These are Lay's ones. These are cheap ones off of eBay, £10 each. But they're just the ideal job for old Lima locos. If you're just going to, and that will keep the cost down even further. If you just use one of these cheapo chips, so they run really well on those. I also bought these are buffers and couplings. So this is the coupling system I'm using. And again, don't worry about if you've missed how I'm saying anything, because when I do the proper video on it, I'll explain it in more detail. I'm just sort of showing you a list of components so far of what I have. These are the actual sockets themselves, as you can see. So these are the sockets that you plug your decoder into, so they have to be wired into the analog loco. Then on here, this is just some spare set of, it's not a spare set, it's actually the window wipers that I'm yet to fit on one of the 60s that I did. So I just didn't want to lose it, so I just put it in that little bag. On here was a spare set of air horns that I bought from, I think it was Peter Spares, because one of them got damaged, so I bought a spare set of air horns. So that's something you can get. So if you do see a Lima that you're thinking of buying on eBay and you see that it sort of got the air horns missing, that might be something that you don't need to be put off by, because if you can source some spare air horns and it's got the rest of the details, then you can still do it and still have a complete loco. These are the resistors. For a minute I thought my 60 had died on me, but it's still running. So these are the resistors I've been using. And then there's this, which is electrical tape. This is cheapo stuff from Wilco's. And this is the stuff that I've been using to mask deliveries as I've been doing deliveries. So just to sort of mask off the grey from the yellow. I've been using the electrical tape here to basically mask off all the various areas to get delivery to my specification that I want. And then this is one of the interiors. It doesn't look like this when you get it. And as you can see, that's kind of, I've put a door on it. I've painted out the instrument panel, and it's also got the, I don't know, let's see if I can show it to you. It's quite difficult. You can see the orange. Basically class 60s, the interiors were grey and orange. That's why I've done it like that. And that's just a piece of paper there. And also another piece of paper here just to represent the door. So, and then after I've basically drilled 3 holes into the cab instrument panel to allow the light from the headlight to bleed through these little lights. So basically to create the instrument panel. So I haven't actually put a separate LED into the instrument panel. All I've done is I've allowed the light bleed from, needs more power I think. But yeah, so bear with me a minute, let me just give it a bit more juice. Hello Irish Train Guy, welcome to the stream. So yeah, it's so we're getting there. But like I said, all of this will be explained in more detail as I show you the video of how I do it. So this is today, it's just really just to show you what the finished product of the 60 could look like and what it could be. Now on its next trip I will stop it and then I'll explain to you the auxiliary function and the limitations of it. So it's just when it comes around on its next trip I'll just spin it around and I'll just explain that to you. A lot of this information is explained. Oh, and just before we go, Jeff Unsworth, welcome to the stream. So yeah, so that's the mega bass speaker that's in that 60. So it's just turning up now, so I'm just going to stop it. Sam Hunter, welcome to the stream. And are you going to stop in time? Yeah, you've gone a bit too far for me, haven't you? So, right, so we're going to, let me see if we can show you what, right, so it's now stopped. And I'm just going to put all these components now I'll be honest with you, I'm not an electrical person by any stretch of the imagination. Many of you would have known that that electrics aren't really my thing, but this is something that I've wanted to understand for myself. So if I can do it, then I'm sure many of you can do it. Like I said, this is a job that if you don't know, you need to be able to use a soldering iron, and you need to be able to have sort of good eye-hand coordination, so you can get the transfers correct. And that's quite important. And a lot of the information you're going to need is right in here. If you're using the TTS chip. Now, a few useful things that I've found was on this one, you've got the diagram here of this is really quite important. This will help you wire it up. But it also tells you that the green cable, the green wire, is for the auxiliary. And the easiest way to remember the auxiliary is basically the auxiliary is a switch. It's an on-off switch. And that's the easiest way to remember it, because then you can use it for multiple of things. Now, I've used it on this occasion to do the cab lights. Now, unfortunately, the limitation of the 8-pin chip means that you only get one auxiliary. So basically, you get a choice, one choice. And that is, how you use your auxiliary function. So you can either attach it to a smoke generator, if you want to fit a smoke generator, which I was going to do. And then I thought to myself, well, it's kind of a gimmick, really. I've always thought it was a bit of a gimmick. It's another 30 quid. But the thing is, I could have still fit the smoke generator into the 60, and it still would have cost me less than a DCC ready class 60. And that was the whole point of this project, was could I do an all singing, all dancing 60 myself under the cost of a DCC ready Hornby class 60? And the answer is categorically yes, of course you can. Like I said, if you're paying DCC ready for 160 to 180 pound for a Hornby 60, and then by the time you've added 40 quid if you wanted a TTS chip to go with it, that's now pushing that up to anything between 200 and 210 with sound. And then you haven't got the cab light, you haven't got the instruments lights. Okay, these are, you might say, gimmicks as well. But I just wanted to kind of prove that I can do it, and quite categorically I can. So the auxiliary is basically a switch, which is an on-off switch, and you can use it to wire in a smoke generator if you want. The smoke generators are about £30, I think, the ones I was looking at. You have to be really specific about those, because you have to make sure you've got the right voltages. You can't just buy any one to fit into it. You have to look at the voltages. Or what I did is I wired it up as a cab light, or you can wire it up, because it's a switch, you can also wire it up as independent tail lights. So basically, when it's running light, you can have them on, but when it's pulling, you can have them independently turned off. But if you connect it the way that you should, which is the white wire for the headlights, the yellow for the rear tail lights, you'll have this thing where it's just like the Hornby ones. You don't have the option to turn off the tail lights. The tail lights will be on all the time. So the auxiliary was a way of independently switching the tail lights on and off as per your requirements. So like I said, if you're running light engine, you can have them on. And if you're pulling wagons, then you can have them switched off. So that was another way of doing it. But I decided to go down the cab lighting route, which I think I like. Moving forward, I'm not sure whether or not the rest of my 60s will go the same way, but I think so. So I don't know if any of you have got any questions that you'd like to ask, and I hope I'm not boring you to tears or anything like that. But if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask whatever you like on the project, because like I said, knowledge is always sort of key. Like I said, it's one of those things that it is a bit daunting at first, but once you've done one, then it's basically the same principle for any other loco, because it's the same. For any DC to DCC conversion, it will always be the same in terms of the basic wiring. And then the lights and those accessories you can also add in later. But this conversion can be as cheap as you want, or as expensive as you want. This is a standard Lima Class 60 as you get it out of a box. And there is nothing wrong with this at all. And you could just, if you wanted to, I did actually, fun enough, Southern Train Girl, just to diverge slightly to your point. I did try and get. Hello, John Warner. I did just try to get some transfers from Railtech for it, but they haven't got any. So otherwise, I would have done the Harry Patch one, but I just, like I said, I can't get the transfer, so there's no point in me doing it. So just going back to this, like I said, you can have it as cheap or as expensive as you want. If you wanted to, you could just run it straight out the box as a DC. And then if you want to go a little bit further, you could just maybe get the buffers and just put the buffers on to make that a bit more realistic, in my view. And then if you wanted to go and paint the chassis just to make it a little bit less plasticky, you can do that, but you don't have to. And then it kind of goes on and on. So it's entirely up to you how much you want to. But the crux of it is I've managed to turn one of these humble DC Lima Class 60s into a really nice DCC sound fitted loco. So let's just spin you back round again for those of you who are just joining before we shut down. So here we go again. So here is, forgive all the mess going around. Let me just see if I can, oh no, that's a bit too scary. There we go. So there is my Puma liveried 60 that I've just done, and that is now completed. And the kind of procedure as I read it would be F11 for the driver to get into the cab. Then he'd switch on the cab lights, which hopefully it will show up. Yeah, I think you can see the cab lights even in the daylight. So that's the cab lights that are fitted, which you don't get with the Hornby. And so that's an additional feature you get with my version, as it were. And then, thank you, John. Thank you, it's really kind. Then you can switch the lights on. And again, then you prime it if you haven't started it, but since we started it, you can just that's the mega bass speaker kicking in. So we've now turned off the cab lights, and we'll see. Let me just sort of see if we can have a good look into the cab. I don't know if it will show it up. I don't think you can see it unless I put it into the dark again. But there is cab lighting, as you saw earlier in the stream. And like I said, there's the other one just there. So let's just give it one more once round. And that is the beauty of the Lima 60, is you have got the space to put that speaker in. With the with the Hornby 60, you have to take bits out in order to fit it in. You just sort of wait for it to come back round. So it does sound much better. Tell you what, my layout seems to look pretty much bigger from this angle. It's just coming around the back. So let's shut that shutter down. It doesn't help but put a smile on your face when you hear a train sound like that. So I guess that concludes the end of today's live stream. Unless anyone's got anything to say. As you can probably tell by my face, I kind of enjoyed that. So if anyone's got anything to add or anybody would like anything to ask anything, please feel free to do so. I was debating doing it live, the conversion, but the problem is with doing it live is that a lot of the time you lose the quality in the picture, and so sometimes it's kind of probably best that I do the conversion as a recorded video, and then it's going to be easier to then for you guys to see exactly what I'm doing, so you don't lose any of the detail. Like I said, if you haven't done a conversion before from a DC to DCC, I must admit, it was quite daunting for me at first when I first did it, and that was some time ago. But as long as you go steady and you go carefully and you follow the steps, it shouldn't be too bad for you. But like I said, I'll be doing that in the next video. Today was kind of more about showing you a finished product and the sort of things that you could aim to achieve. And if this is something that interests you, then by all means go ahead and have a go. Like I said, I've done it. People might say it's brave, but to be honest, the actual cost of a Lima loco is about 45, 50 quid. And okay, that's still a considered amount of money, but to do the actual standard DCC conversion is not actually that difficult. And like I said, I'll show that to you, and hopefully that will give you guys some confidence to expand your skills if you so wish, and if you're interested in doing it. Because I've always said about this channel, the reason why it was put up was because somebody took the time to help me when I needed it, and I wanted to give back in return. And this is something that I'd like to do and share with you guys, because the cost of locomotives can be quite expensive. I think one of the reasons why the Hornby 60 is quite expensive, as well as the Class 50, is because Hornby don't have any competition. As we've all seen with the Hatton 66s, or just the Class 66s in general, there's so many different companies making the 66 that it drives the price up and down. So yeah, in fact, I probably have more 50s, Jeff, to be honest, more 60s, Jeff, than 50s. It's just that there are certain liveries that I really, really like. And there's a couple of liveries that Hornby ain't doing this year in any case. I mean, some of the liveries I'm doing, yes, Hornby will be producing them this year. The GBRF one is the one which is like the 50 style version. That is coming out this year, which I'll be doing. But to be honest with you, after the saga with the Class 50 GBRF, to be honest, I don't really trust them to get the blue right. I don't know if they've picked up on it or not. I don't know if this is something they'll be correcting. But am I going to wait that long? I don't think so. And to be honest with you, I know I can do it myself for a lot less. And okay, it might not be perfect, but at the end of the day, it's on my layout and it's for me to enjoy. So I'm not selling it on to somebody to criticise and say, oh well, this isn't right and all the rest of it. So, and I think I've done a good enough job anyway, and a reasonable enough job, and saved myself a lot of money. I wouldn't be able to do if Hornby brought out all the 7 locos in the liveries that I wanted. I just simply couldn't afford to buy all of them. I'd literally have to be picking and choosing which liveries I really want. This way, I've saved myself so much money that it could go towards another 60 at some point. And all I have to do is just buy the transfers off of Railtech, buy the 60s as I find them on eBay. There isn't any great time pressure, and I can do it in my own time, knowing that I've got the bits here already to create my own loco. Whereas nowadays, another big problem that I find is that so many retailers are doing everything on pre-order that if you don't snap things up there and then, you're just not going to get it. So it's quite frustrating because it makes it quite difficult for those of us on a budget and are looking to possibly having to sort of see where we can find the money for when these products turn up. And if you've got to pre-order it, then it's almost like you're committed to buying it. And when they turn up, you might not be able to afford it. So this is a nice thing. I enjoy doing local projects anyway. So like I said, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I'd like to thank you for joining me today. And I hope that you guys have got something out of it. And like I said, today was just about showing you some of the components that I've been using, showing you a finished 60. So if you guys are interested in doing anything like that, then you can enjoy my next video when I start putting one together for you guys. If it's something that it doesn't interest you, then you know that the next video probably won't appeal to you. So until the next time, I'd like to thank everybody for joining in, everybody for commenting, and take care. Yes, stay safe, look after yourselves, and yeah, enjoy your trains. Bye for now. Bye bye, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.